Hello, everybody. Nick here from Pro Wrestling Unlimited, joined as always by the very handsome, very lovely James Kincaid to talk about some West Coast bro. But we aren't alone this time. We have an even lovelier guest joining us, Alyssa Marino. Hello, how are you?
Hello, my friends. It's great to see you both.
Lovely.
Alyssa, it's so good to see you. I wish you were in the Bay Area right now, but I know you will be back very soon. So, but I'll take this as a substitute for now.
I'm there in spirit.
Absolutely,
always for sure.
So you are relatively new here to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. They haven't seen your face before, heard the voice as much as they've seen James and I. So I'd love if you kind of gave them an introduction. Let us know about you. Say hello.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm Alyssa Marino. I have been lucky to join my friend James Kincaid and also the fabulous Veda Scott on commentary for West Coast Pro in the past. I have a YouTube show called Let's Get Cereal where I eat cereal and talk about stuff and occasionally talk to pro wrestlers and do fun little interviews. I'm a commentator, ring announcer, freelance kind of on-air talent broadcaster gal, and that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
If I can just pump her up a little bit, she is one of the most phenomenal broadcasting talents you could add to any pro wrestling show. I don't want to speak for you, make this officially your nickname, but I do in my mind consider you the Professor Alyssa Marino because you do the prep work. You are so well versed, and yeah, she just improves every broadcast she's on. So
that is absolutely.
I stand Alyssa Marino.
And I will say one big thing that makes a pro wrestling show is the broadcast team, making sure that they're people that are not only people that you want to listen to, but people that know what they're speaking on. That's one of the reasons I love watching the West Coast Pro streams, is knowing that when you watch that, you're going to get some fun people on your calls. But I have to ask, you have the show Let's Go Get Cereal, or Let's Get Cereal. What's the best cereal?
Okay, so my personal favorite is Golden Grams. This is my diatribe every time. I feel like it stays intact the best. I feel like it doesn't crumble away to powdery pluff, and it's, resists soggification. So I think that it's the most bang for your buck. It stays the freshest, the longest. It's my go-to.
You just said the word soggification.
It's yes, I've coined that term, soggification.
Awesome, I love this. This is already up to a good start. Yeah. Now I gotta know, James, where's your cereal preferences lying?
Man, I'm pretty bland, I think, in comparison to a lot of people. I really love the Special K with red berries. It's a classic to me, and it's hard to beat, honestly, in my opinion.
You both had good answers. Wrong answers, because you should have picked Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Sorry.
So I'm not eating a lot of cereal right now because I'm doing the keto thing. So I have to find like a keto cereal and try that out. Probably disgusting, but whatever.
Can't be that great.
Magic Spoon, James. It's worth checking out. I believe it's keto friendly.
Okay, I've actually heard a lot of good things about that. They sponsor a lot of things that I listen to.
They definitely do. Yeah, Magic Spoon's getting out there. I mean, if you need hello, I'll just over here. I'll take it.
For the 7 people that are still here to hear us talk about wrestling,
yes, right.
Good gosh almighty, April 15th, West Coast Pros game related. I'm so excited. There's always like an energy before West Coast Pro shows that come where you're bouncing around, you're telling everybody that you know, hey, are you going to this? Oh man, check this out. Did you see they announced this? It's so fun. This card is pretty bonkers bananas, if you're asking me. We have it up here on screen. Vinny Mazzaro taking on Akira. Levi Shapiro and AJ Gray scaring off, which, good gosh, that's going to be a big slap fight. I'm excited for that. The Conglomerate taking on Amaris, Gringo Loco, and ASF. Do not blink. You will miss something in that match because those guys move quick. Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Titus Alexander. Titus fighting every name that he wants. He will call someone out and he will fight them. And I'm really excited for this Mike Bailey match. A tag team match between the Reno Scum and the West Coast Wrecking Crew. That's going to be a lot of fun. To prepare for Friday, all I've been doing is listening to Reno Scum's theme song. It's really good. It's a really good theme song.
It is.
Yuji Nagata taking on Davey Richards. Debbie Malenko and Masha Slamovich. That's going to be a scary match. Minoru Suzuki and Kevin Blackwood squaring off against each other. And the main event for the West Coast Pro title, Bandito taking on Jacob Fatu. There's every one of these shows, James and I try to go, all right, cool. What's this match you're looking for? What's the big match here you're looking forward to? The big match is almost every match on this card, but I want to know immediately what you guys are thinking about this card. Where are your guys' heads going to with some of these matches?
I'll say for myself, one of the things that kind of a little bit of fallout from Savage Mode was West Coast Wrecking Crew versus Reno Scum. I mean, Royce Isaacs after the match had some very strong words, some little jabs at Adam Thornstowe of Reno Scum. And I think that this was something where at Savage Mode, you know, they were crossing paths for the Prestige Tag Team Championships against C4. And obviously, you know, not victorious. C4 went on to retain their titles, but there is just some bad blood that we saw right out the gate. I mean, a child in the audience was being used as a weapon. Things were just getting out of control. And I think that's really a testament to the passion of these teams. And when you think about just the history, I mean, Adam and Lester have known one another for over 20 years. Meanwhile, you have that against Royce and Jarrell's 4 years as a team, but both have showcased their skills as teams on these very high-profile companies. So I think that it's something where, you know, Royce teased the idea that Adam's got one foot out the door, but I think that if anyone is going out, Scum is going out swinging. So I think that this is, no matter how things shake out, it is going to be something really special.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and just the amount of cutlow it is for the West Coast Wrecking Crew to come at the fact that Adam Thornstowe has contemplated, you know, hanging up the boots and stuff, something that he's talked to Alyssa and I about, that really, you know, he was heavily contemplating it. He came back for West Coast Pro Wrestling. When they came back, that was sort of a big weighing factor in his decision to keep it going. And so for West Coast Wrecking Crew to sort of make light of that, deeply, deeply personal, and two just phenomenal tag teams to boot. So yeah, that one will certainly be can't miss. And if you don't have a ticket, it is sold out, but you can hear myself and Veda Scott on IWTV calling the action. And we'll get Alyssa Marino back out here very soon to be back on comms with us as well. You know, I want to sort of go more broad here just for a moment, because, you know, Nick, I know you were mentioning how we usually, you know, pick a few matches to go over and how just super difficult it was to zero in. Like, all these are big matches. It is. I'm looking at the card here, the image on my phone, and it's just it is staggering the amount of talent, the kinds of matches that have been put together here. And I was on my way to the West Coast Pro Wrestling Training Academy the other night. By the way, shout out to Speedball Mike Bailey, who just had a seminar there. Apparently went very long into the night, so everybody got their money's worth, and I'm sure learned just an incredible amount and gleaned a lot of knowledge. But I was on my way down to the academy. By the way, you know, amateurs, semi-pros, pros, if you want to better yourself, check it out. For sure, Vinny Massaro and Levi Shapiro are the trainers down there, and they're doing a great job. But I'm looking at game related here, and I was riding down, and I just was so struck by what West Coast Pro Wrestling has meant for the Bay Area and the Bay Area pro wrestling scene. And, you know, I've lived in San Francisco in the greater Bay Area for the better part of since 2006. So a long time that has really snuck up on me. And, you know, for those of you that don't know, like, my quote shoot job or day-to-day job is with the Golden State Warriors, and I've loved my time there since, you know, 2014 when I came aboard, and it's very special to me. But there was something that I was just deeply reflective when I was on my way down, is like how much that West Coast Pro Wrestling has come to mean to me, and the sort of amount of civic pride that I have for the Bay Area comes from West Coast Pro Wrestling more than anything else I've done. Like, I am proud to rep the Bay because of West Coast Pro Wrestling more than anything else in my life. And that is just such a testament to the job that Scott has done, Vinny, Levi, all the folks that that make it happen for West Coast Pro Wrestling. And, you know, Scott doesn't rest on his laurels. He's never satisfied, and he wants to put out the very, very best for all the fans and really show out for the Bay Area. And he's doing it. And so it's just like a big hats off. I look at this card, and this is just like sort of the distillment of everything he's worked so hard for. And I know he's already, you know, he's going to enjoy tonight. Maybe not as much as he should, because I know he's a perfectionist, but he's already going to be looking to the next thing. But yeah, I just was coming into this. I was just so incredibly just like, man, like West Coast till I die, you know, like this is like, I'll run through a wall for these people kind of deal. Like not to be over dramatic, but it's just how I was just feeling some type of way for game related. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now, but yes. Where do we go from there? Nick, you talk for a minute.
No, and I mean, I do want to mention that this is something we mentioned the last time you and I talked, James, is that the kind of vibe that West Coast Pro will give you, being in that venue, being around those people, it really creates a sense of like, oh, this is like my place. This is where I belong. So West Coast Pro is my favorite promotion right now on earth. I love going there, and it's really helped me like bring my friends to wrestling shows, get people interested in wrestling. Good gosh.
And you're doing the Lord's work with that, by the way, too. Are you rolling deep tonight to West Coast?
Unfortunately, no. The crew that I roll with works at my shoot job, and my shoot job needs everybody there right now.
Sorry, Charlie.
Man, no, it's the crew we got going is a good one. I'm excited for them to all see the match that I'm looking forward to the most, because when I brought the person that I brought to see the first West Coast show that I went to post-pandemic, which was No Leaf Clover, where Minoru Suzuki took on Daniel Garcia. I have the best video in my phone. I'll send it to Tim. He can pull it up right here. It's a great video of Minoru Suzuki standing above Daniel Garcia and going, "Fuck you, young boy," and the crowd loses their mind. I'm standing there like, oh my god, this is awesome.
And fucking young boy.
I'm so excited to watch that man professionally wrestle again. I got to watch him on Friday down to GCW. Sunday down to GCW. I'm going to see him Friday now at West Coast Pro. I'm so excited to see Minoru Suzuki and Kevin Blackwood. And that's not to take anything away from Blackwood, who's been on an absolute tear. Kevin Blackwood, so impressive to watch. So fun. Him and Suzuki are going to beat the hell out of each other. I really, really want to know, as commentators for you guys, when calling a match like this, what is that kind of like to call a match where both these guys, you know that it's just going to be violence?
I defer.
I think a lot of the time we just let the action speak for itself. Because I mean, there's a beautiful poetry. I've heard it referred to a lot of the time with some of these really hard-hitting matches, and Suzuki, obviously his accolades can speak for themselves. But I think that there is a poetry to that amount of violence and the actual auditory sensation of the thwack of just flesh to flesh. It's just, there's something beautiful to it. So I think for me, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's just let that speak for itself. Let's just have those moments and just know where to slip in and kind of season it up a little bit. But for the most part, I think that is a full course meal that you have in the ring. So
I think that is incredibly well said. I like the choice of words, poetry, because there is a lyrical quality to pro wrestling in general. It is a brilliant dance. I know the cliche phrase is it's not ballet, and it's not, and it is, or certainly not in its, original form, but it is this brilliant, violent dance. And these stories that come out in the ring and unfurl before your eyes, it has sort of this musical quality to it. And, my approach is to just, if I can be, like Alyssa said, like part of the seasoning, I call it to be a part of the soundtrack that is pro wrestling is always very humbling, and just trying to enhance, not detract, because it's not about us. It's about what is happening in the ring, the stories that are being told. And so much of that will speak for itself. But when we want to really hammer it home, that's where we come in. And the great thing about being in the stateroom or wherever West Coast Pro Wrestling is that the fans help that so much. So I love a moment when I can just kick it over to the fans out there and they do the talking for me. And it is just, those are always some of my favorite moments. And, you know, when Suzuki first arrived at West Coast Pro Wrestling, that was something so incredibly electric that I will never forget. And then again, on the other side, like you said, Kevin Blackwood, somebody who I believe Veda Scott said he's, you know, arguably the face of independent professional wrestling right now. And certainly, you know, just has that rocket ship as he's, you know, taking on all comers and is having great match after great match. So, you know, this could be the night for Kevin Blackwood. I mean, what an opportunity for him in taking on Minoru Suzuki. Just incredible stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And also, before we go into the match that you're looking forward to, James, what I really want to do, someone let them know where they can watch this.
Oh, well, I will be watching it on IWTV. It is going to be streaming live. I'm going to be tweeting along. So please make sure that you join, and you're using the hashtag of the evening. What is the hashtag for the evening? Is it hashtag WCP game related or just game related?
I believe it's hashtag WCP game related, but I will, you know, I'll double check. I'll make sure I put that out there and we'll get it going. But, you know, I have not confirmed that as of this time, unfortunately.
And that is fair enough, because I know you're going to mention it on the broadcast. So while we're watching along, we know what to use.
Yes.
And that way we can all be in the chat and be reflecting on all of the insane madness that we're seeing. Because I think, too, something that was really special, this was being referred to as the biggest night in West Coast Pro history. So if you can't be there because it's sold out, because of geographical limitations, we can all be together on IWTV.
Absolutely. And it does make a difference. It always makes me happy seeing, you know, the feedback online and stuff like that, and just hearing, you know, how much of a good time people are having. And, you know, and as a personal aside, when Alyssa was watching along on another one, that she got my Errol Flynn reference, which I was not surprised that she got, but I still always appreciate when a reference is, you know, sort of hits home and finds the mark. But yeah, do yourselves a favor, watch along on IWTV. We certainly appreciate it. And hopefully, you know, you can come out in person for the next one, or keep watching along on the stream wherever it may find you. For me, diving into the match that I am most looking forward to, yes, was incredibly tough to choose, but Debbie Malenko and Masha Slamovich is one that I immediately circled. I struggle, you know, you're not supposed to play favorites, but Masha Slamovich, one of my favorites. I can't help it. Like, when she comes out through the curtain, she commands everyone's attention. Everything she does in that ring looks like it hurts. It matters. She just, I can't say enough incredible things about that dang dangerous Russian Dynamite Masha Slamovich. And, you know, on the other side of the ring, Debbie Malenko, the word pioneer maybe gets thrown around too loosely at times, but in this case, if the shoe fits, wear it. And that's Masha Slamovich might be wearing it on her face, because Debbie Malenko is as BA as they come. And I'm going to video game nerd out here for a quick second when I'm talking about Debbie Malenko. But for her to be trained by the Malenkos and by Gotch, the only woman ever, no one before and no one since, but to go to the Malenko school and earn the moniker Malenko, to have that bestowed upon her, reminds me of Metal Gear Solid, which was, there's a special forces unit called Foxhound, and there was only one secret agent that was trained that was good enough to get the moniker Fox. So Debbie Malenko could be a cyborg ninja waiting to kick Masha Slamovich's tail, and I'm all here for it. Like, this match, I cannot wait. So there you go. End of nerdy rant this time.
That's and you know what, too? I think there are so many interesting and incredible parallels between the two of them as competitors, because when everything had really shut down in the US, Masha Slamovich was training and working in Japan, which I think is somewhere where Debbie Malenko was an absolute, you said pioneer, a trailblazer, certainly for Gaijin women in Japan, and really like a staple of All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling in the 90s. So I think that Masha, I think it even said online where she acknowledged that Debbie has wrestled alongside her coaches and the women that she looks up to. So not only is Debbie an excellent wrestler, but they share very similar appreciation and practice of Japanese style. So to see that kind of collide and come to a head tonight at Game Related is going to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's like the two sides of the parabola coming all the way to form a circle. I got a little verklempt.
Yeah. It's like, buddy, you good?
I'm good.
Oh
good.
my God. It's
yeah, no, I cannot wait for that. It is that full circle moment for both of them. I do want to shout out a couple other things here though with Game Related, because we do have Jacob Fatu defending the world championship against Bandito. Absolutely can't miss. Crazy town that is going to be happening in South San Francisco tonight.
Yeah, that's it. Real quick, when I saw that tweeted, I was very like, oh, this is fun. And that immediately got me to like, all right, let me stop messing around and make sure I secure my tickets now for West Coast Pro, because they do be selling out rather quickly, because this April show sold out before April even came.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is going to be absolutely amazing. Levi Shapiro and AJ Gray. How will AJ Gray rebound from losing the West Coast Pro Championship to Jacob Fatu? Levi Shapiro, though, making his return from a little bit of an injury sabbatical, psychologically, physically. How will he be doing? And, diving right into the deep end against AJ Gray. But one thing I absolutely knew I wanted to mention, and I know Alyssa will appreciate this as well, the best entrance in professional wrestling, and he's certainly on a roll right now in terms of his matches, quality, wins, piling them up. But the best entrance in pro wrestling, Vinny Massaro coming out to That's Amore. I think in terms of just singular moments that I'm looking forward to the most, or that sort of make my heart swell the most as a pro wrestling commentator, is the raucous ovation that Vinny Massaro now gets whenever he steps through the curtain here at West Coast Pro Wrestling. Like, it's incredible. And he is in this sort of renaissance and just knocking it out of the park every time he steps in the ring. So I am looking forward to that as well. Nagata and Richards, I feel like that's going to be like Nagata and Kurt Angle redux here at Game Related. So it's just, so much going on.
Every time we have, go ahead.
No, please, no, go.
I was going to say, but also Speedball Mike Bailey and Titus Alexander, like,
just going to say that,
strap yourself into your commentary station, because it's going to be a whirlwind, a roller coaster of a match. And also to just Speedball Mike Bailey's on a just different kind of level. And I think he's delivering showstopper after showstopper. But Titus Alexander also has a full head of steam. I mean, it may have been short-lived, but he was the Prestige champion last month. I definitely think that probably has gotten to his head worse than his attitude already was. So how is that going to combat with the breakneck speed and innovation of Speedball Mike Bailey?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought up Speedball Mike Bailey, because in fact, I didn't pick his match in large part because I feel like it's like, well, I'm always going to pick his match just because he is this just as captivating a performer as there is right now. Like he's just like Alyssa said so perfectly, on another level. Like Speedball is different. He's built different. He's like Stephen Curry in the squared circle right now. Like that dude, like he's changing the game. And
really, that's a really fun way to put that. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side, Titus Alexander, that evil, SOB, for all of his faults, he is so incredibly talented, which makes it all the more frustrating. It's like, I guess if I make a comp to him, it's like, Barry Bonds didn't need to do steroids, but he did them anyway. And that's like kind of like where Titus Alexander's fitting into it right now. Took the shortcut.
Baby.
Well, what can you do? I'm a purist.
Go A's. We never did anything wrong. Just don't. Please.
Bash Brothers. Yeah.
What do you mean? That never happened.
But I mean, it's going to be such an incredible night at Game Related. So I'm looking forward to, all the fans will be at the Stateroom in South San Francisco, and I'm looking forward to hearing from y'all as you follow along on IWTV as well. So it's going to be, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, and I appropriate, a happening.
Hey.
I'm really excited. Like I said earlier, there's always a vibe the day before West Coast Pro Show, the day of a West Coast Pro Show, walking into the venue and like, oh, there's the ring. Oh, the seats are all set up. Oh man, sit down and talking to your friends. You're meeting new people at this show. It's a ton of fun. I'm really excited for tonight, and I highly recommend everybody check it out on IWTV. It's going to be a hoot. I'm so excited. Alyssa, I know we have your at the bottom of the screen there, but what other things can we plug for you?
Oh, I mean, I have my show on YouTube, youtube.com/Alyssa Marino. I'm at AYY_Marino on all the socials. And if you want to support the show, you can log into my Patreon and subscribe over there.
There you go. Absolutely. And of course, James, you old scallywag. Plug him, baby.
The scoundrel, James Kincaid. At James Kincaid on Twitter, at the James Kincaid on Instagram, because a deactivated account has my name and they won't give it to me. But I digress. But yes, as always, just support West Coast Pro Wrestling any way you can. Support your favorite independent pro wrestlers any way you can. I know I was looking at some new Kevin Blackwood merch that just dropped, so I'm looking into that, and you should too. And Championship Wrestling, the United Wrestling Network, I do work with them as well, and it's a really exciting time for them also, so do yourselves a favor and check that out. We're going to be in Oxnard on the 21st, so check it out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me to talk about West Coast Pro this morning. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is going to be a very, very fun night of professional wrestling.
I get butterflies.
You guys for having me.
Every single time I get butterflies. So I will see you there, and y'all give me life. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for checking out this episode. We love you all very much, and we'll see you again. Bye. I love you.